Rising again. That's a lot of care. A lot of cat care. Yeah, oh yeah, I went today to see that for their annual.
She's gonna extend them 6 inches.
But I did buy a, I feed them WD, that Hills prescription.
Pink earbuds.
Yeah, it
just
doesn't
for
work, but
his,
I buy it, yeah.
amplifier.
I'm afraid not to be bit, you know.
No, it's not the right thing, but she bought pink earbuds for him to wear, which I had to laugh at.
Yeah, I think they're on a trip,
Well, this is the bag, it's,
Good.
birding trip.
but it's the biggest bag they do.
Oh, really?
It lasts,
With
yeah, a good 6 months or so. It's still,
like a tour, like a bus.
They have done that a couple summers at campgrounds.
I guess those people watching.
Like a mustache.
The new reporter that took Evan's place?
I don't know.
There's a new reporter that took Evan's place?
I think so.
Smoker. Carrying a camera.
Wonder if he's not a spouse of one of the ladies. Or if he's not a spouse of one of the ladies.
Maybe.
It's next Thursday. Is it next Tuesday or next Thursday?
Thursday at 6. That's what I have written down. You have it on Tuesday or Thursday?
I've got it on Tuesday.
And you have it on? Well, either way, I'm not gonna be here.
It's basically like this, is it? Republican. And I think,
She said it was I think they were all on.
Can you hear me okay?
It's on.
Yeah, it's on. Good evening. My name is Pat Spurlock. I'm the president of the League of Women Voters for Oconee and Pickens County. It is my privilege and certainly my pleasure to welcome all of you to tonight's Candidates Forum, sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Pickens and Oconee County and the NAACP of the Pickens County branch. Please stand if you're able and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The League appreciates, I have to get even closer. The League appreciates the opportunity to utilize this facility and is grateful to Town Clerk Susan Brewer, hiding in the back row, for her assistance. I have just a couple of housekeeping, let me turn this way. Excuse me, you're on my side view, my profile. Just a couple of housekeeping items. One, please turn off your telephones or put them on stun, whichever is your preference. Thank you. Safety requirements, the exits are here and here, plus the back entrance, front entrance. restrooms are in the lobby area on either side of the room. The League of Women Voters and NAACP are nonpartisan political organizations. We do not support, nor do we, and we do not oppose any political party or any candidate. One of the purposes of the League of Women Voters is to promote political responsibility through informed and active participation in all levels of government. Sponsoring candidate forums is one way to meet this goal. For more information about the candidates, especially on their positions, please log on, or excuse me, go to vote411.org, and you'll find out more information about the candidates, assuming they've filled out the questionnaires in affirmative. All of our candidates tonight were invited by email and agreed to participate. They will be available after the forum for a short period of time for personal questions. Tonight we have 4 candidates for town council seats and 1 unopposed candidate for the mayoral position. You received cards upon entry to ask written questions. Please signal quietly by raising your hand to have your question collected or to receive another card. Now I would like to introduce our moderator for tonight, Carolyn Bishop McLeod.
Thank you, Pat. And I understand these microphones are directional, so you have to speak right into them. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. Well, good evening, and thank you, candidates, for being here. Your participation in the government of Central is most appreciated. I will be asking you a series of questions this evening, and your names will be drawn at random for each round of questions. It's going to be drawn out of this cup at random. You have 2 minutes for your response. Don't feel like you need a full 2 minutes if you have a quick answer, but you do have 2 minutes for your response. The timekeeper is sitting over here, and she will display a yellow paddle when 30 seconds remain. When the red paddle is displayed, that is time for you to finish your thought and your sentence. And if you're in mid-sentence, please continue and finish your sentence. And as Pat said, the ushers are collecting questions from the audience and sorting them for duplicates, combining them as necessary, and eliminating any personal comments or questions that are not relevant to the office or the topic this evening. Please remember that there will be no personal attacks from the candidates, speakers, or the audience. Audience campaigning will not be allowed. We only have about an hour or so, and we do want to hear from the candidates tonight. As I introduce the candidates, please hold your applause until all have been introduced. So our candidates this evening are Ken Dill, running for mayor, Doug Barry, Robert Griffin, Daniel Yvette, and Paige Bowers, who are all running for the open seat on town council. Audience, now is your time to applause. Okay, thank you. And we will begin with opening statements from each candidate. And as I said, please limit your statements to 2 minutes. Okay, so to lead us off, Doug Barry, would you begin with a statement about why you are qualified for this office, and anything else you want to say about yourself?
All right. Well, again, my name is Doug Barry, and I'm grateful for the opportunity the League of Women Voters and the NAACP gives us to address y'all. I'm from Buffalo, New York originally, actually Kenmore, a little suburb of Buffalo, but we've been out of there. That was the first 40 years of my life. We've been down here since 2000. So when I was up there, I was managing the food service operations at the University of Buffalo. preparing food for 10,000 residents on 2 campuses, overseeing that and the warehousing of all the goods and services that we provided. Then joined a company that I traveled down to Chattanooga and lived there for a couple of years, actually in Rock Springs, Georgia, which had a lovely population of about 800, so a very small rural area. We moved to Columbia after that, worked at Columbia International University, and then came up here and worked at SWU, Southern Wesleyan University, before retiring about 1.5 years ago. I think my experiences in these different areas we lived in gives me a unique take on what is needed in helping to run a town and visions I've seen in other cities and towns we've lived in. The village I grew up in was 1 square mile with approximately, I think it was 4,000 people. A typical 1920s house driveway suburb of Buffalo. Everything else, we've lived in the country, we lived in the city, and I've just seen a lot of different ways of doing things. As far as Central, I've served on the Town Council from 2015 to 2017, and on the Zoning Board of Appeals from 2023 to 2025. Through that time, I gained a lot of good insight into how the town works, how the bits of town history that influence decisions, and listening to residents' ideas. I look forward to serving.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Okay. Robert Griffin.
Thank you. And I appreciate you having us here tonight. I really do. I'm Robert Griffin. I've lived in Central all my life. When I was born, my parents brought me here, and I guess when my time's up, they'll carry me out of here. But I've been on council for 2 years now. Got a lot of experience. Learned a lot from other folks that have been on council before me. I started my law enforcement career in 1974. I worked undercover narcotics for 8 straight years. Had one of the largest drug seizures in our county, which was 16 tons of marijuana at one time. We took down the first clandestine laboratory in Dacusville, and that's just some of the things I could tell you about. But my experiences throughout the upper state of South Carolina, working with different agencies, different entities, counties, state, federal agencies, gave me a lot of experience. And I think I could bring a lot of that experience to the table here based on what I see we need here in Central. We do need a lot, and we want a lot. But I would like to see us prioritize our wants and our needs and try to figure out a way to get them all. But I know that can't be done. But I hope to work with everyone that's on council and see if we can't make Central a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Ms. Bowers.
Thank you for coming out tonight, and thank you for having us here tonight. I have been on council for 16 years. I have taken the basic and advanced training from the Municipal Association, which gives me a great insight into what goes on in the town and how to attempt to run it. I've also been in planning for those 16 years, where I took that from an individual that was part-time, that did not usually show up to meetings, to having a part-time enforcement officer as well as a part-time person on staff to help us. I would really, in the future, like to work on revitalizing downtown as well as the economy of downtown, and work on the walkability of our town. I think those two things go hand in hand with the things that I've learned in planning, and could use those to benefit the town. I think that we also need to start moving to a proactive versus a reactive decision-making process. And I think the other thing that we need to kind of Robert said is we need to have a list of priorities and set that up so that we can start making decisions based off of those instead of reacting for decisions.
Thank you, Ms. Bowers. I think I heard that they're having a little bit of trouble hearing. These are directional microphones, so it means you need to speak right into them. So when it's your turn to speak, just hug right on up into that microphone, please. Okay, Mr. Abbott.
First off, thank you, League of Women Voters from Oconee County and Pickens County, along with the NAACP, for inviting us here tonight so we can take part in this. I am from Central. Before I was born, my roots were here in Central. And after college, I worked in the financial world. I started my own business after that. Still have my own business and also work for Clemson at the same time. And all those positions, I've seen what it takes to grow something successfully by learning from your mistakes, how to budget items, how to make hard decisions, even if they're not the popular decisions. There has to be a right decision when it's all said and done. I would love to be. I would like to have my seat back again. I was a council member here at Central before, and I would like to do my best to be a great steward to this town. A lot of people speak about Central as though it's a hallmark town like you would see on TV. And I know our town needs growth. We need more businesses, but we also need residents. But I think if we grow it the wrong way, the hallmark feel that you have of this town will be lost very quickly. And I want to work, if elected, with every single council member along with the mayor to help accomplish the goals that not only the community has, the townspeople have, but also the town of Central itself has. So thank you again for having me here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Abbott. And Mr. Dill.
Yes, I'd like to thank the NAACP and the League of Women Voters. I'd like to thank all of you who came out tonight for being here. And I'd really like to thank the people that are sitting up here for deciding to take the chance to be a part of the civics of our town. It's been an honor of mine to represent the town of Central for 16 years on town council, and some of those years as the mayor pro tem. We've lived here since 1990, raised our children here. They played rec sports and did cheerleading. I coached t-ball and machine pitch and assisted with basketball teams. And we've intentionally remained here to stay rooted in this community and with our neighbors. I just retired in June from Southern Wesleyan University after 34 years of serving there as university chaplain. I would like the opportunity to lead our council, to help set vision for our community. During my time, I've made myself available to people through phone calls and emails and text. I've met with concerned citizens, sometimes over coffee, sometimes at the library, sometimes over ice cream. But if they've asked, I've tried to be available. I think I lead with passion and we lead with integrity. I think there are 3 areas that I would like to address. One is to empower Central through transparency and participation, to sort of demystify what being in a part of our government is, so it's easier for people to understand, to create strong and healthy business environment for our downtown and for other areas in our city. And then the last thing is that we have great stories to tell, and there are great things that are happening here, and I think we ought to be sharing positive news as well.
Thank you, Mr. Dill. Okay, now we're going to get into some questions. And our first question is for Mr. Abbott. What specific experiences or education do you have that qualifies you to serve effectively on city council? Town council, excuse me. I'm upgrading the town to the city.
Thank you. Over the years, working in finance, being a small business owner, working as a director of ops with Clemson University, the town doesn't have a unlimited fund that we can always draw from. So being able to know how to manage those funds to accomplish as many goals as possible is one thing I know that I can bring to the table. Being able to read financial documents, being able to, at times, light forensic accounting and be able to figure out where a problem is, or being humbled enough to know that you don't have always enough experience, but being able to ask questions, to reach out to other towns and say, hey, I have this problem here. I noticed that you've had this problem before. How did your town overcome that? Items like that and many more are experiences that I've gained over the years that I know that would be useful in this position.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to ask the same question. Can you hear okay now? Is the volume okay? Very good. And I know that you all have given some of your,
Couldn't hear me? Do I need to restart?
no, but next time just see how close I am? If, I don't know if it's possible with the chairs, but just get as close as possible as you can.
Yes,
Okay, so I know everybody has given some information about their experiences, but this is your opportunity to really get specific. Mr. Barry, what specific experiences or education do you have that qualifies you to serve effectively on town council?
Oh, thank you, that's a good question. In the roles I've served over the course of 45 years in food service, I've run restaurants, I've run school food services, and managed budgets of anywhere from just $150,000 up to $3.5 million worth of products and people. I've had numerous people under my management and worked with over the years. I just want to use those skills again in working with the town, working with the council and the mayor, and just being a voice for all the people in Central. Make sure everybody's heard. If you don't get a cohesive game plan and a good core group of people around to listen to and get their ideas from, it's a lost cause. And I think with everything I've learned in different geographic locations from a city to a small rural community and a village I grew up in, which was like a larger Central. Everybody knew everybody, even though it was for the village, I had a graduating class over 900. And I know 150 of them that get together every summer for a reunion 40 years later. Central is like that. It's been like that. It's been a family community. That's why my wife and I chose to move up here from Lexington. The company I worked for always gave us the opportunity to say yes or no to the school we were going to work for. And we came up here and it just embraced us. The town of Central embraced us and we embraced the town of Central. And I just want to work with the town and see what the people want, what the council can do. As Daniel had mentioned, to keep Central Central. We're not Greenville, we're not Seneca, we're not Pendleton, we're Central. And to keep it that way. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dill, what specific experiences or education do you have that qualifies you to serve effectively as mayor of Central?
Yes. As I said earlier, 16 years of being on town council. Can you hear me? Am I? Okay. 16 years of being on town council, serving on committees and subcommittees for the town. My area has been with recreation, and so I go out and I go to rec games. I go meet the coaches, and even drop in sometimes when they're drafting players. That's a fun thing if you've never seen that before, but to do that. I also spent a short period of time, about 18 months, as a part-time summary court judge for the town of Central. I went to law enforcement school, passed my exams and did that. So I have a sense of how the police department operates, how the judicial part of our town operates, and the management part of how our town operates. And then throughout my career, a lot of it has been helping people to get to where they want to be as a chaplain and working with students. And I think all those things help me to be somebody that's qualified to help lead us as we have a vision and then set goals then to meet that vision.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Griffin, same question. Do you need me to repeat it?
No, ma'am, I don't think so.
Okay.
Some of the main skills that I think that I bring to the table, number one is, as a, police chief in the town of Liberty, I had to develop budgets, stick to budgets. I had to move money from one place to the other and make it work. And that's something I feel like I could bring to the table here and figure out how we can use what money we have and use it effectively. My other big issue is being accessible, being able to listen to the people here in town. They know they can talk to me. They know that I'll listen to what they have to say. I may not always agree, but at least they know they can come and ask me a question. I'll be honest, and I won't try to sugarcoat any problems we have in town. And I think that being an effective listener to the folks is something that we need as council members, all of us, and to listen to each other, because a lot of times other people have a better idea than you do, and you need to be open and willing to listen to that. And I think that I have that ability and have shown it over the years. I also was involved in the rec department here in town. I coached football here in town for 34 years. So I know a lot of the families still know their families and on and on and on. But I feel like that makes me very, very qualified to be a councilman here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Griffin. Ms. Bowers, same question.
Can I come down to the podium so everybody can hear me?
Well, is the microphone not
I'm
working?
far away from the microphone, but you all tell me if you can't hear me. You can't hear me? Okay.
This is as close as we can get, so.
Okay. I have a degree in architecture, which I have used in planning. I have also worked at a bank and done a little bit of everything at the bank. Right now, I work with accountabilities with the school district of Pickens County, which means that I am listening and asking questions all day long, which I think is a great asset to be able to use on council, because I think the listening piece is what we need to make sure we're doing, because we need to know what the citizens of the town want, as well as getting out and listening to them all over town. I've had a booth at festivals, met people at coffee or ice cream or downtown on a park bench to be able to have a conversation and to discuss what people wanted in a comprehensive plan, what they wanted the town to be doing for their citizens. And I think that is an important thing or piece of education that we need to all have. I have done all of the basic training as well as the advanced training with the Municipal Association of South Carolina as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that everyone knows that they have the opportunity to get an index card and write down a question. If anybody has a question that they'd like to submit, please raise your hand. It will be collected So don't miss your opportunity to ask your own questions. We have one additional question from the league, and then we do have some other questions as well. Mr. Evett, close to the microphone now. If a tourist were to ask you, what is your favorite part of Central, what would your answer be?
I would honestly tell them I act like I'm retired. My wife and I have a golf cart, and we have probably put 900 miles driving through the town of Central. We go up and down, just experience it. Our little dog, Knox, hangs out in the back. Our town is so valuable with its sights, its scenery, the people, that it's truly hard to pick one spot. Nostalgia-wise, going to the Central Academy of the Arts, even though it's not much in comparison to the rest of the town, I go back there and think about playing on the playground as a child. So that would probably be my answer to them. And it's one of those, our town's one of those places that once you experience it, it answers all those questions for you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure this is the kind of question that everybody's going to say, oh, I wish I would have said so-and-so. But, okay, so Mr. Griffin, if a tourist were to approach you and say, what is your favorite part of Central, what would you say?
I don't know that I could give you one specific answer. There's so much. I enjoy history myself. I think that the old roller mill now is been brought back to life. As a child, I used to walk to school, past it every day and back. That's one of my favorite places in town. My grandfather ran a store on Main Street, so I love walking up and down Main Street trying to remember what it used to be like. And I would encourage other people just to walk around, maybe speak to some of the folks that they meet on the street, and get a sense of history of the town. Visit the Railroad Museum is a great place to go, and so things like that. That's what I'm.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bowers?
I have always said that our biggest asset was the people in the town of Central. Is what makes us different, because most of us know everybody that's here and have for a very long part of our lives. But I think as well, we can look forward and backwards with what we have in our town. The historical home, where you can take tours. My daughter loved going through there with the fancy dresses that they have on display. And then the roller mill still shows you what a working mill could look like. The train museum, the scavenger hunt of trains all over town, and then all of our restaurants. Southern Westland is right in our back door, and they have a lot to share with us, as well as Central Academy of the Arts. Our educational system is one of the top in the state, and it starts at Central Academy. So for me, it's the people, but everything we have in this town is a reflection of those people.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Barris. Mr. Barry?
Well, I can't say that I have lots of childhood memories walking around town with my family, because I wasn't here at that time, but it does bring back memories of when I used to walk around the village of Kenmore, because you had the little candy shop over there, and you had the hardware store, Hillburgers, to go to and hang out. But the thing I like is, as Paige said, the Morgan House, where the historical museum is great. I learned a lot going through there and talking with Miss Sheriff and Miss Collins Old Town. Just going there and seeing the things they used back in the 30s and 40s, and seeing what one man and his family could build there. just the little things. I used to love the train trestle that crossed over to the end of Gain Street that's no longer there, and people always see the sign, bridge out ahead, and they, what bridge? And that was a cool little wooden bridge, you know, I liked hanging on top of there, watching the trains. I still like sitting down where Depot Dog is and catching a train going by. It's nice when you have one that goes by slow enough you can check out the components and everything. You know, the trains are what made Central what it is back in the day, and it still is. I haven't counted and I haven't checked at the museum, but it used to be 22 trains a day. I don't know if it still is. But it's just, there's the people of Central running into them different places, seeing what's going on, or just hanging out on the wall outside what's now the Mexican and watching things go by at the different festivals. It's just a great little town to be in.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Dill?
4th of July, we had a parade downtown. And the parade was, you got your bicycle or your wagon or your car, your Jeep, and we all lined up and we went downtown. And it was just great. It was just the funnest thing for everybody to be there and participate. We ended up down at the Caboose, and we had free food there that was provided by the town for people. There was music. The fire truck came and they got their water cannon out and they squirted water out, and kids and some adults were running under there getting wet, and then the train went by. And it was like, what more could you ask for on the 4th of July? I mean, some fireworks maybe, but, you know, I mean, it was just, and there were 3 men there from South America who were up visiting someone, and they just couldn't believe it. They were having the time of their life because of that. Or on a Tuesday night, being at the football game when the kids are playing, and it's cool and a little bit of fog, and the train comes by. Our people, the things that we do, the things that we value. We have a saying, as a minister, I have a saying here that says, we're in Central, where 2 or 3 are gathered, a train will be among them. And that's okay. We represent a lot that's going on, but also a lot that's stable and good.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dill. There is a theme, I do sense, the train theme coming strongly through here. Okay, well, we're going to switch directions a little bit now. We do have a question from the audience. This will start with Ms. Bowers. There appears to be a homeless encampment or open-air living being built about a mile past the city line. How would you suggest dealing with this increasing problem and specifically stopping such camps?
I think that's a hard question.
Yeah, it is.
I think that you have to find the root problem of why there's a homeless encampment. I know that we do not really have a homeless shelter in Pickens County to be able to help individuals. But I think you're gonna have to solve the root cause of that to be able to help the individuals get off the street. Because that, or you're just going to move them down the road to someone else. I would like to think that we would take the time to figure that out the right way, so that we have a good relationship with them, and they know that they can come and talk to us, and we could find them the help that they needed.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Griffin, the same question. There's a homeless encampment being built about a mile past the city line. How would you deal with this problem, specifically stopping the camps?
Well, that's where the collaboration between agencies comes into play. You reach out, if if it's in the town or right close to the town, naturally our police officers would go out, and if they needed a county officer, they would call the county officer and have a good working relationship with them. And that's where you know what assets are available, what agencies are available that you can call and reach out and get someone to help transport these people to a safe facility or a place where they can get some help. I think reaching out and giving folks like that help is the most important thing. And once you do that, you set them on a path that they can take care of themselves.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Barry, same question. There's the encampment about a mile past the city line. Specifically, how would you deal with stopping these camps?
Well, as the others have said, I think the biggest thing is finding them help for why they're homeless. Is it a financial thing? Is it a social, mental issue they're having where they can't cope with being in a home? But find ways to take care of them. I know I'm with the Knights of Columbus, and we have a setup out in Seneca where once a week they can come and get a shower and get a change of clothes and get some food to take with them. We can't find houses for them, but we can take care of their basic needs. And I think if we can do that and find out what their root causes are. I know over the years I've been here, I've seen them riding the CAT buses just to take up some time in their day. I've run into one or two at the library, just surfing the internet, and capable of doing things like that, but they just need someplace to get up, get that leg back up again. You know, something's happened that they're knocked down to the point they're at. I have tried talking to some of them when I've seen them camped out over by the library. There's a wall on the side towards the back, and they'll set their bikes out there and make little tents all around them, and that's where they'll stay. They don't like to talk much. You know, I'm not part of that crowd, so they don't want to. They're very protective, so it is hard to find out what's going on with them. I really think we just have to figure out a way with, as Robert said, with the different agencies, with United Way, the food pantries with the churches, the church groups. Maybe we can get my Knights involved out this way and get something set up like we have out in Seneca.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Dill, same question?
Yes, you know, that's, it's disturbing to me that people have to live like that, whether because they choose to or because that's all that they can do. There's about 6,000 people in the town central. Our poverty is about 30%. Our elementary school children, it's about 40%. So all of them then get to qualify for free lunch and for free breakfast. So it's just multifaceted for me. Working with agencies outside of town where they are, and along with us, things like people in town that have blessing boxes that are put up around so that people can get food and things like that. About 9 years ago, council voted to allow apartments to be built, workforce apartments in the Kenyon, and they were just completed this past year. And they provide people sliding scale places for them to live based on their employment and their tax record. And then there's also government housing there as well. So some of this is just information that we need to have to help people understand. Also, affordable houses, just housing in general, but affordable housing. And I think we can do that with compassion.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Evatt.
I think that finding the root of the problem, like why are we homeless? Is it down on my luck, drugs, whatnot? I think finding out there and then reaching out to Pickens County to let them know about our situation, what options do we have available to help the homeless people that are in the encampment, so we can execute it. Because I know a lot of people like to walk at night, and I know they will cut off certain areas that they might enjoy during the daytime, but they don't enjoy going that route at night because of homeless people or drug activities or whatever it is. And I think that if we can address the problem that's hand the most humane way possible, whether it's getting help at United Way, reaching out to food banks or whatnot, but if they're homeless, I would say they definitely don't own the property that they're trespassing on. And finding a solution that will help them and help the citizens in our town is what we need to address as quickly as possible.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to move to another question. And this is for Mr. Berry, starting with Mr. Berry. What does council and the mayor's office need to do to support ANMED coming to the community?
I think first and foremost, we have to get the infrastructure caught up to a place where it can handle that crowd coming in. That's been a big topic for the last year since that was announced. It is going to be a small ANMED facility to begin with, but it is going also planned for phases stretching out, so there won't be any beds in it to begin with, but the plans are there that there will be. We don't have the sewer capacity right now to handle it. We don't have the road capacity to handle it. I think we need to push the DOT for quicker studies and quicker fixes on how they're gonna build the road to handle the extra traffic that's gonna be over there. It's a good thing to have an ANMED closer to town. When you think about it, there's Cannon is a half hour away, ANMED itself is a half hour away, Oconee a half hour away. So all you have is the little urgent cares who can take your temperature and just look down your throat and put a Band-Aid on it. And that's not gonna help sometimes if you've got a really deep cut or a really bad infection and you need more care than they can offer. I was really in awe when I heard that it was coming. I was like, wow, right there? And then I'm like, ooh, right there. An 18-mile road has a lot of traffic to begin with. And putting the hospital and the other residences that are planned to go on there, we're looking at an extra 3,000 to 4,000 trips a day going up and down that road with no infrastructure to handle the roads or the sewage and wastewater from any of it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dill, same question?
Yes, I think we've worked very closely with ANMED to help them see that this is a great place for them to be. They want to be here, and we would like to have this facility for our citizens. We used to not have a doctor or a pharmacy or anything like that. We have doctor's offices now. We have pharmacy because we have Walmart, and that's on the CAT bus route, so people can get access to that. And now to have a facility that's this close for a population that's aging, to me, is just a very important thing. I would disagree, Mr. Berry, just for a minute. We have encumbered our allotment for sewer and registered that with the state. That's what we have to do. So when people are looking at the number that we have for sewer capacity, it's already been encumbered for that facility. So it's not to look at it now, you're saying this is the capacity we have for 20 years from now. The work that council is doing now on sewer capacity is really for our children and grandchildren to make sure that when that time rolls around, they have capacity. We have capacity now because we've encumbered it. That number has changed, so when you look at it, that's what you need to realize. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bowers.
We have worked really hard to get AMED here because it is such a great accomplishment and help for our town. We do have the sewer capacity, as Ken said. It has been encumbered, it has been taken out of our allotment. On the Willy Wonka Road plant, it takes 7 to 10 years to build a sewer plant. So, I think that is what most people are hearing us talk about instead of not having enough sewer. I do agree that DOT needs to help us with the bridge that is there, but we have been talking to them for a couple years now. And they knew before we said anything to the town that that was coming and that we needed help moving that forward. So I think we have made strides in our infrastructure, but there's always more that we can do.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Evatt?
I think ANMED coming is a great thing for our town. It's gonna bring obviously more people to the town to experience our shops when they do need to come to the hospital to visit people. At the same time, I'm not privy to the numbers as Paige or Ken or Robert are when it comes to sewer, but I definitely know the investment that ANMED is making. They did the calculations before they even purchased the land. So if they're willing to do that investment, then I know that the sewer would be there. Obviously, the road that ANMED's gonna be on, DOT does need to come in and help with the bridge, help egress roads as well. At the same time, I understand that maybe DOT doesn't have the funds at the moment, but there are many grants available through the government that the town can reach out to potentially just say, hey, we got a grant, we wrote a grant, we were approved for it, so we can build this highway or help do this. So maybe there is a chance that we could look for other options to fix the bridge, fix the road, without having to depend solely on South Carolina DOT.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Griffin, what needs to be done to support AMED coming to the community?
Well, I hate to just repeat what the others have said, but that's really all I can say, because I have been in the room during the discussions since this thing has started, and I know we're in good shape right now. And I hate to repeat myself on an issue, but there again, if we're gonna run into problems, I know that. But when we do, that's when we reach out to our state partners for help and ask for assistance, not just with money and assistance like that, but with ideas, suggestions of things that they could help us with. And also, we reach out to our federal. We have a senator that grew up right here in Central. His home was right on Main Street. I'm sure we could get access to him and try to get some suggestions from his side. So, as I said, I hate to repeat, but Ken is correct, Paige is correct, and we're okay right now. Just excited about him coming, because what an event it's going to be for Central.
All right, sounds good. Okay, we're bumping up on time. I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I'm gonna give everybody an opportunity to make a closing statement. So this question is gonna come to Ms. Bowers first. What lessons should the Central Town Council and Mayor's Office learn from the growth management problems in Clemson?
I think one lesson that we need to learn is that we need to listen to our citizens and put what they want first. I also think that we need to be careful and not promise what we don't have. I know that that did happen with part of their infrastructure in Clemson. We have put a moratorium on any new approvals for 6 months while we rewrite our planning and land development regulations, because they have not been rewritten in about 20 years. But I think that if we follow those two documents as a guide, they will prevent us from following in Clemson's footprints.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Berry, same question. What lessons can be learned from Clemson and their growth management issues?
No, as Paige said, I think we have to listen to what the people have to say. The city of Clemson clearly hasn't done that with friends we have down in Clemson that have been to the meetings and not wanted to have their homes be underneath a 8-story building. We do have to really look at who the developers are and what they bring to the town. I think there has to be a larger encumbrance put on the developers. They're making millions off of Central. They're coming in here and making millions off of the people moving into Central. And some of it has been done with shoddy workmanship that has to be repaired within a couple of years. There's others where the roads and infrastructure they put in need to be fixed. I think instead of just, I don't know how the laws work, I haven't been privy to that enough to understand. But I know D.R. Horton elsewhere in the state just paid $8 million to put in the roads in a subdivision they were putting in. So why don't we just charge the developers $8 or $10 million to build the roads and put in the infrastructure that's needed, rather than placing it on the taxpayers that are here already in the form of a fee, $4,000 or $5,000 per housing unit that's going in. They're making millions. Let them share the wealth. We really have to watch how things are done, where the money's going, follow the money trails to find out who's doing what and who's getting paid to do what.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Evett, what lessons can Central learn from Clemson's situation?
I think the moratorium was a great idea. I think I would be considered a horrible steward if the town of Central and Main Street looked like Clemson around 6 o'clock, where it's just traffic jam, everybody's trying to pull into a restaurant. I understand that they wanted the growth, they might have grew too fast without thinking about the consequences or how popular those places would be. They could have spread them out throughout Clemson and they would not have this issue now. Rewriting the book, so when people do come in, do hold the builders accountable. Unfortunately, by the time a developer has purchased the land, it's kind of news to us at the same time, because people want to cash out on their investment, so to speak, and whoever wants to pay them the most is who they're going to sell it to. Most time that's a developer. So we can't stop that part, but we can stop what's coming after. And I do agree with Doug. There's several builders that have put in roads, they've improved areas as part of their development. And looking at the towns that those developments were built in could be blueprints on how we do the same thing.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dill?
Yeah, thank you. I think the lesson that we learned is that we want to drive the growth instead of the growth driving us. And so then we have to ask ourselves, what does that mean? How do you get there? Hope is not a strategy in that sense. One of the things that we're doing right now, as Paige has said, is that we're making a playbook. And so we hope by 6 months that if a developer comes to us, that we can say, here's our playbook. Take this, look at it. It's going to tell you what setbacks are there, what barriers have to be there, what kind of density that there has to be, what you can do to trees, what you can't do to trees. If you like this, then you come back and we'll work on this. If you don't like this, then thank you for taking the time to come see us. So there's, that we can do that. And I agree with Doug on that we drive that instead of allowing that, to drive us. So listening to people again, but I want to, I'm not going to be popular here, but you need to listen to the largest number, not the loudest number. Okay? And I know that's not popular for me to say that. But you can have a few loud people that can dominate, and you need to look at all the people and let all of them speak, not just the ones that seem to be the loudest. And I think that's incumbent on us to make sure that we're doing that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Griffin?
Well, I agree with what Ken said, and I think that we can learn a lesson by what we've seen in Clemson, and we don't want to go down the same, get ourselves in the same situation that they have. And I think the moratorium is a wonderful thing, and I think that if need be, we can vote to extend that if we have to, if we see a need to. And I think if that's what we need to do, it'll be helpful. And one thing that I've seen or wanted to see is, and these developers, when they come in, they want to promise you this, or they say this, or they even sign a contract to this effect. But then when it all gets going, maybe it doesn't exactly play out like they said it would, or they told us it would. Well, I want to see some consequences for that. I think they should suffer greatly for violating, say for instance, if we have an agreement about clear cutting. That's a big issue here. I want us to save the trees around town when possible. If he promises us he's not gonna cut the trees, and he comes and he cuts them, well, it's gonna take a long time for them to grow back. But I think the developer who violates an agreement like that needs to suffer some consequences. But I think we're headed in the right direction. I'm excited about it, and I hope the folks in town will get on board with us and be excited as well.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we're going to move to just your closing statements. I do have one requirement for these closing statements. You must tell me what your favorite treat is at the Central Suites. That is a question from the audience, so I want you to include in your closing statement what your favorite treat is at Central Suites. Okay? And we'll start with Mr. Dill.
Mint chocolate chip. I always get mint chocolate chip every time I go there. Sometimes praline, but mint chocolate chip. I enjoy being with these people that are up here. And I think these are ethical people with integrity. And those are the kind of people that I think we want to be working with our town and leading our town. I'm excited for the possibilities for our town. There's problems, sure. There's issues we're gonna face, yes. But I think we're heading in the right direction. There's a saying that, the setting sun casts a long shadow. I wanna tell you, the rising sun also casts a long shadow. And I think we're on the rising sun part of this, that we can make ourselves and this town even better and even a more gracious and generous place to live, to grow, to be educated, and to spend our time with family and friends. And I would like the opportunity to help us set the stage that we need to so that we can make sure that that's a reality. And I thank you for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Griffin, don't forget about your central sweet treat.
Banana split. I too, I feel honored and blessed, for the time I've, been on council so far. I hope that folks will, trust me with their vote, in November and allow me to continue on, because I feel like I've, learned a lot. I've learned a lot from the ones that are on there now, and I really am too excited about the way the town is going. I would like to see us fill these seats up more during council meetings and work sessions. How we do that, I don't know that yet, but I would like to see folks come out and talk with us and meet with us and share their concerns. And I would like for all of us to show the people in town that we are accessible. We're not just sitting up here making decisions based on what we want or what we feel. We're selfishness. We want to do it for them, and I'd like to hear more folks come to the meetings and hopefully can figure out a way to do that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bowers?
Chocolate peanut butter ice cream, yes. I have loved my 16 years on council, and I really think I'm probably crazy for saying that. Because I was on planning, I would have 3 or 4 meetings a month, with a lot of homework in between those. But I enjoyed every minute of it. I would love to serve another 4 years if the citizens of the town see fit. I think that we are on the edge of some great things happening in our town, and I would love to be a part of that. I thank you for coming out tonight and taking part in what will shape our town. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Evatt?
My New Zealand friends have probably cost me 5 or 10 pounds, because I always get 2 scoops of cookies and cream and a mincemeat and cheese pie. If you vote for me or not, I want everybody to get out and vote. It's a civic duty that we should all do. I'm young enough to still be ambitious, but I'm old enough to have learned from my mistake and be wiser about the decisions I make for the future. I love this town. I don't want to say die in this town, but I want to be buried in this town. I want to take care of Central, use common sense approach, but also look into the future of what our decisions will do. And if we could slow down just a little bit here, it might have better outcome in the end. Or just like any other decision, it's always 20/20 after the results are in. So if you can just slow down and think about what our actions will truly mean over time, being able to do that. And I want to work with the mayor. I want to work with the council members. I'm not afraid of work. I'm from a generation that, you got a job that's 14, 15 when you can get a work permit. I don't even know if they have those anymore. So I'm not afraid to burn the midnight oil. I'm not afraid to be approached by a phone call, a text, an email. Come knock on my door. I don't care. The citizens in the town are who I care about, regardless of your culture, your religious belief. You're my neighbor, regardless if you're beside my house or down the street. And I want to do what's best for everyone. And I know that we can't get 100% happiness out of everybody, but if our goal is at 90, 95 success rate, that's what I want to work with.
All right, thank you, Mr. Evatt. And Mr. Barry?
Chocolate, chocolate, and more chocolate. Dark chocolate, ice cream with chocolate fudge, and a little whipped cream. I don't want to spoil the chocolate. thank you all for being here. And I thank the people that were whispering in my ear for the last few months saying, come on, you gotta run, come on, you gotta run. And my wife not listening to them and saying, okay, you can, we'll try it again. I enjoyed the time I was on the council before. I think we accomplished a lot. And I think there's always more to do, especially in a town that's growing the way Central is. I do think we have to control the growth rate. I think the moratorium was a good step. I wish it would have gone into place a few years ago when it first came up. I think we have to have some recreational opportunities for the teenagers other than just the rec center, because I don't know a lot of 14, 15-year-olds who carry $10 a day to go to the rec center to play basketball. All right, we need someplace outside where they can play basketball, do things other than frisbee golf, things like that. We got slides for the little ones, and we got disc golf for the older ones, and we just need more stuff for them. I really think we are on the cusp of something really good. I think if the more downtown buildings we can fill, the better off we'll be. Speaking to a couple of landlords, they do want people in their buildings. They just don't want to give away the space. And some of the spaces are rather large. So it's up to us as a council to help that landlord find somebody who can occupy a large space, whether it's another museum or antiques marketplace, what. But we just need to keep moving forward in a nice controlled way. And as Daniel said, it's a great small town feel. Let's keep it that way.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Berry. Now that we're all good and hungry, I am going to turn this back over to Pat Spurlock with the League.
Thank you, Carolyn. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, and especially our candidates. And in the back row over there, Susan Brewer, and Jessica Rowland. To our moderator, Carolyn Bishop McLeod. To our question sorters over here in the corner, Ruth Reed, member of League, and Dr. Kenneth Robinson with the NAACP, and Kathy Nove Joseran. Am I ever going to learn how to pronounce your name? We're going to have to find a way to change it. Our timers, Sharon Morgan Roth Burns and Sarah McNeil. To all of our greeters and ushers, where is she? Oh, there she is. To organizer extraordinaire, Carol Asselon, who helped pull this together, and to all the League and NAACP volunteers who pulled this together. Remember to vote on Tuesday, November the 4th, 12 days from now. You could vote early now, and that will end next Friday, October 31st. Yes, that's Halloween, and you can vote from 8:30 to 5 at the Pickens County Voter Registration Office, 222 McDaniel Avenue in Pickens. Good evening, and drive home safely. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, your answer loudest and longest.
Motions of the member here, and I'll do it with my phone this time. I take pictures of these forums, and you all spread out like that, so I get these nice pictures with all these little tiny
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Berry?
Thank you, ma'am.
So you want to get a picture
I
of all
want
of
to
us?
get all of you against the town of Central. That way, at least that way I can get decent size.
Did you want us all standing up or
All
just?
standing up.
Okay.
And let's move that chair out of the way, you got it. I don't usually do this, it's a good idea, right here. By the way, all of you, I had a little trouble with the beginning statements, and everybody got louder after that, so, thanks.
Come on, Robert. We're all getting around.
We'll take it twice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ken.
done a lot of forums for the,
If I get elected or not,
very impressed with the people
that much
we get for
of a favor.
candidates. I can't vote for you because I don't live here, but,
And it's too late to move into the district.
well, I have been impressed, I like trades.
That's my sister Ashley, she's the vice, assistant principal of our school. Oh my God. Take a right past her, keep going down.
Liberty primary.
Liberty Primary, there we go. My wife's in the red jacket. That's your wife.
Okay, I thought, I kept thinking, she looked familiar, but
And then my nephew Thomas, that's actually son.